Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Mysticle, and today I'm going to be bringing you the latest in XR news. I do apologize if my voice sounds a little bit different throughout this video. I'm still a little bit sick, so that might be a problem, but hopefully it's not too distracting. As in today's video, I don't even know what I'm going to call it. It's going to be a little bit all over the place, but we're going to begin as usual with the Quest news, as I do believe that that's what most of you came here for. So let's jump right into it. First of all, some bad news, I guess, for Quest 3, or potential Quest 3 buyers in the future, as the CTO shoots down face and eye tracking for non-pro headsets like the Quest 3. I mean, this was pretty obvious. We already knew this from the leaks, from the schematics, from things like that, but I guess there were still some people in the comments hoping for face and eye tracking on the Quest 3, as apparently without that, the Quest 3 wouldn't be a big enough upgrade. But come on, guys, I mean, the Quest 3 needs to be different than the Quest Pro in some way. I mean, clearly they're not going to finish on one Quest Pro. The Pro lineup is going to continue, and some features need to be removed. Yeah, we've got a single panel instead of two panels, but that wouldn't be enough. Andrew Bosworth said that the facial expression tracking technology in Quest Pro is still years away from making it into the more affordable line of Meta's VR headsets. In a recent Instagram AMA, a user asked Bosworth how long until we see facial expression technology in a non-business headset. Bosworth noted that Meta wants facial expression tracking to become more affordable for more people. However, Bosworth then stated that the extra cameras for that tracking are expensive, as is the processing power they require. This means that Meta executives don't see a path to getting that into more affordable headsets in the next year, 2 or 3 years. Well, that is kind of a shame. 2 or 3 years, that is quite a whiles away. Hopefully by then they do find a way to have that hardware in more affordable headsets, and if they don't, someone else will. And talking about Bosworth's AMA, we also have information for the Echo VR community. Now, I'm very behind on this, so I am going to gloss over it. Other people have already gone over this in more detail, but essentially Bosworth was asked multiple times during his AMAs about what is happening to Echo VR and things like that. Now, what most of us kind of got from the Bosworth AMAs is it was kind of his decision to shut down Echo VR, as apparently human resources or human capital should be used elsewhere, as it doesn't make sense to be used in Echo VR. And he also did make it very clear, what would John Carmack do? John Carmack would not have shut down Echo VR. So if we still had a gaming legend in Meta as the CTO, we would have still had Echo VR. And to quote from John Carmack himself, this is something he wrote to Upload VR. I reached out to Boz as soon as I heard about the end-of-life announcement for Echo. We have been over similar discussions in the past. I thought it was a mistake to not keep Oculus rooms running and port to Quest. And I thought that it was a mistake to abandon all Gear VR/Go content when my emulation layer worked for at least a good chunk of things. I believe in saving everything. So I'm going to leave a link to this letter in case you guys want to read it down below, but the TLDR is drop to absolutely minimal support. Put a single developer in charge of maintaining it and doing what they can with the community. At ID Software, we had one guy managing Quake Live for a long time, and I think that was the right thing to do. This would almost certainly not earn out on a cost-benefit analysis for Echo, but a lot of people are spent on worse things, and despite me always harping about efficiency, I would consider it justified. Again, more people have created videos on this in more detail, but I'm still going to leave a link to the petition down below in case you guys are interested. But unfortunately, it does seem like they are pretty set on shutting down Echo VR. Thrill did a video yesterday where he mentioned that there is a saving grace. I'll leave a link to his video up here in case you still haven't seen it somehow. But yeah, there's still saving grace for Echo. Hopefully, the mod loader will be made open source when they shut down the servers, which means we should be able to do something about it, hopefully. But with that being said, let's move on to the next piece of news. Meta has finally optimized their developer tools for M series Macs. In case you guys don't know, the M series is what Apple has created as an alternative to x64 inside Macs, tablets, everything. They're now using basically a singular chip for everything, which is pretty cool, and I do give them props for that. Apparently, Meta's software wasn't optimized to run on that, but last week Meta released the latest version of Meta Quest Developer Hub, which has been optimized to work natively on Apple's M-series chips for better performance. The Quest Developer Hub is a collection of tools to make VR development easier for Quest developers. Now, this is something that I actually use myself. Oculus Developer Hub I tend to use, for example, starting ADB over Wi-Fi when SideQuest doesn't want to work for whatever reason for me. And I also use it to cast sometimes, as it uses a different way of casting to side quest. I also use it to disable the proximity sensor. There's a few really interesting things in there. So I do use the tool myself. I am quite familiar with it, and I find it interesting that it wasn't optimized with M-series chips until now. But I mean, look, at least they got to it. It's a somewhat curious update, considering this is the only major change in Oculus Developer Hub v3.2, and considering that VR developers working on Mac OS seem to be a tiny minority compared to those on Windows. Well, I mean, they do exist, and it would be nice for those developers to be able to use their software correctly, wouldn't it? So I find that to be an interesting update for you developers out there, and I know that we do have quite a few developers watching these videos, so much love to you guys. And you guys working on M-series chips will now finally be optimized to do so correctly. Earlier on, we talked about if Meta doesn't make face and eye tracking more affordable for users, another company will. And as another company did previously, the Pico. The Pico 4 and 3 now have Blaston available for them. Resolution Games' one-on-one arcade shooter Blaston is now available on the Pico platform for the Pico 4 and the Pico 3 link. Resolution confirmed that Blaston would be heading over to the Pico late last year, while also detailing an update with major revamps to the game, including a move to free-to-play model. Now, this was a big thing when it happened back in the past, because I bought Blaston, for example. I didn't mind them moving to a free-to-play model, but a lot of people did. And the reason I didn't mind it is because I think it's a great game, and I think the more people we have in it, the better. It's just a really fun little title that you can play with your friends. Essentially what happens is you stand over there, your friend stands over here, and you guys get to shoot at each other. Whoever shoots the most wins. Now, there's a lot of additional things to the game, a lot of additional mechanics and things like that. So I do recommend that you check it out if it sounds like something you might be interested in. And if you have a Pico Neo 3 link or a Pico 4, you can now join in on the fun. The more titles that are available on the Pico, the easier the headset is going to be on people that buy it in the future. Currently, a lot of people buying those headsets are only buying them for the PSVR aspect, and that is actually mainly what I recommended them towards, but the more standalone games we have on them, the better. After all, they are also standalone headsets. Talking about games coming to other headsets, Pistol Whip promises a more realistic firing experience on the PSVR 2. Popular action rhythm game Pistol Whip arrives on the PSVR 2 this month, and Cloudhead Games recently outlined how it utilizes the new Sense controller. Now, I don't have my PS5 controller with me here right now, but in case you guys don't know, the PS5 controllers utilize haptic feedback on their triggers, meaning let's say you're firing a weapon, you can feel that in the trigger moves accordingly. If you're driving a car, it can make the trigger harder to press, kind of like throttle. It's really cool, and that technology has made its way over to the PlayStation VR 2 new Sense controllers. The studio revealed more in a new PlayStation blog post that I will leave a link for you in case you want to check out the full thing down below, claiming the controllers create a more realistic firing experience through changing resistances and unique reload SFX for weapons. Now, there's a lot of haptics happening in the PSVR 2 headset. I myself haven't got to try it out, and I don't have a PlayStation 5, so I probably won't be getting to try it out, but a ton of other content creators have, and they've spoken very highly about it. And to quote from Twitter, Pistol Whip launches on PSVR 2 February 22nd, with immersive enhancements like haptic feedback, 3D audio, finger touch detection, and adaptive triggers. So it does seem like a ton of VR games are going to be able to take advantage of these technologies, and I do think that they will bring immersion to the next level, especially haptics. Haptics are so important in a game. If you have good haptics, they can make a game miles better, but if you have bad haptics, they can absolutely ruin a title. So it's very important that games do this correctly, and I'm very excited to see adaptive triggers and such technologies make their way to other headsets in the future. Other than that, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a fantastic day or night wherever you are in the world. If you guys like this one, please do leave a like. It costs you nothing and it helps the channel out a lot. If you disliked it, I guess this button works too, but let me know why down below. Thank you so much to the Patreons supporting this channel. You guys help me out a ton, paying my bills, paying my subscriptions, and helping me make these videos better. So thank you so much. If you guys are not yet part of our community, check out our Discord and check out our Reddit down below. I want to see you posting your spicy memes on there. I know I haven't gotten to the things you guys have posted on the Discord yet. I'm just waiting for a little bit more to pile up so that we can smack them into an end of the videos. So do make sure to post your stuff on the Discord down below. And as usual, if you want to be notified about future content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack that subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace.